Hey guys, Fergus here with weathermapping.com. Today's map of the day shows percentage of normal precipitation across Europe, covering the last 10 days. This map doesn't show how much rain fell. It shows how the amount compares to what's typical for this time of year. So, what is percentage of normal precipitation? This metric is used to compare observed precipitation over a given period to the 30-year average for the same location and same time window. It's calculated using a very simple ratio. So let's have a quick look at the math. Let's say a location receives 50 millimeters of precipitation over 10 days, normally. But it actually receives 100 millimeters at that location. So 100 divided by 50 is 200% of normal. That means it received twice as much precipitation as usual. On the other hand, if a location normally gets 50 millimeters, but it only received 25 millimeters, 25 divided by 50 is 50% of normal. So even though some rain fell, it's only half of what's typical. This is why kind of percentage of normal maps are really powerful. They tell us whether an area is running unusually wet or unusually dry, kind of independent of the absolute amount. You know, a small rainfall total can be really significant if the climatology is normally really dry, and kind of vice versa. So how do we read this map here? The brown and tan colors indicate areas that have received below normal precipitation, while the greens and the darker shades indicate above normal precipitation. Values near 100 are close to normal, and while those values kind of well above and below this are meaning significant anomalies. So the numbers that are actually printed on this map represent the actual percent of normal values. So a value of 200 means double the typical precipitation. A value of 25 means 1/4 of normal precipitation. So let's have a look at this map and see what's actually occurring. Starting in Northern Europe, including kind of parts of Scandinavia, precipitation over the last 10 days has generally been below normal. Many areas running in that 20 to 50% of normal range, indicating a relatively dry period compared to climatology. This suggests that storm systems have tracked towards the south of this region during this period. Moving into Central and Eastern Europe, that signal remains predominantly dry. Countries across this zone, Germany, etc., are showing kind of widespread below normal precipitation, often between 20 and 60% of normal. This points to a broad suppression of precipitation rather than isolated dry pockets. As we shift southwards into Western Europe, we are seeing a sharp contrast. France, UK, parts of Western Europe showing near normal to above normal precipitation, with many locations running into that 100 to 200% of normal range, kind of double their regular precipitation, kind of indicating that more active storm tracks have been impacting this region over the last 10 days. The wet signal becomes even stronger across Southern Europe and the Mediterranean basin. Kind of large portions of Spain, southern France, Italy, the Balkans, Greece are all running well above normal. With these areas kind of exceeding 200% of normal and kind of in some cases reaching 300% of normal. This means there are 3 times the typical rainfall fell during this period. This kind of strongly suggests that we're seeing repeated storm systems interacting with that Mediterranean moisture, leading to sustained precipitation rather than a single extreme event. So overall, we're seeing a very clear north-south contrast. Drier than normal conditions across Northern and Central Europe, much wetter than normal conditions across Southern Europe and the Mediterranean. This kind of large-scale split is often associated with something called a persistent jet stream configuration, where storm tracks are repeatedly favoring one region while bypassing another. So what are the implications for the region? Well, in areas running kind of below normal, continued dryness can affect soil moisture, river levels, early season water availability. In areas running above normal, kind of especially in that southern Europe area, impacts can be saturated soil, increased runoff, elevated flood risk, kind of particularly in terrain favored regions. Because this map is only like a 10-day snapshot, it doesn't really define long-term drought or surplus on its own. We'd have to look at 90 or 180-day percentage of normal precipitation, but it does kind of show where the balance has shifted recently. Weather conditions are trending wetter or drier than expected. The key takeaway from this map is contrast. Over the last 10 days, Southern Europe's been significantly wetter than normal. Northern and Central Europe have been notably drier. Percentage of normal precipitation makes that contrast immediately clear by putting rainfall in its proper climatological context. If you like this map and you'd like to see me do more of these videos, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Laters.